Morning everyone, welcome to my channel Kiss Keto by Keto Kath. I'm Keto Kath and my channel's all about my weight loss journey to lose 56 pounds. We're on week 11 this week and I do weekly updates, so if you want to see how I'm going on, you want some hints and tips, please hit the subscribe button. Please subscribe. The more people subscribe and the more that YouTube will spread my channel and more people can get help from what I'm doing. Also hit the thumbs up button, because again YouTube will distribute my video to more people if more people give it a like, so please hit the thumbs up button so that more people get to see my videos. So this week's video is about how to maximize your weight loss on keto, because I'm learning all the time and I'm making mistakes and I'm learning from those mistakes. So I thought I'd do some hints and tips. I've had a couple of friends say they're thinking of doing it. I've got some friends that have started doing it. So just some hints and tips for anybody that's thinking of doing keto, just to help you on your way and don't make the mistakes that I've made. You can learn from my mistakes. So don't whether you remember, but last week's video I'd gone off plan on the Tuesday. I'd felt a bit low, a few things going on, and I'd eaten some sweets. By the Friday when I did my video, I was back in ketosis, but the off plan just sent me out of ketosis for 3 days. I measure my ketone levels. I have like a glucose meter and it measures ketones. And I was in ketosis again on Friday, but I was barely in ketosis. I'll put a chart in here that shows you what your maximum ketones levels are for losing weight. So on Friday, I was just 0.5, I was just in ketosis. Now, up until my binge, I was actually, my levels were about 2.5, between 2 and 2.5. So I was in a really good level of ketosis, I was in a maximum fat burning level, and I was doing really well until I had that blowout. And although I got to 0.5 on Friday, for the whole of this week, I've hardly been above that, and there's an odd time where I've measured my ketones and I've been below, even though I've stuck to the diet. It's been borderline, and up until yesterday I went for quite not a long but a vigorous bike ride last night, and that helped my ketone levels go up, and I got back to 1.5, but I'm still not at the level I was at before I had that binge. So I'm back in a better range now. 1.5 is a really good range, but it's literally been 0.8 one day. I got up, I think it was 0.4. So my ketone levels have not been great. So I have to reflect and think it really isn't worth all the work I've done up to now to have a binge for one day, for it then to take about 10 days to get back to good levels of ketones and burning fat. It's far easier to stay in ketosis and know that you're burning fat. But the other consequences of that were I found I've really struggled with cravings since I had that carb binge. I've had a tremendous carb cravings, more so than I even had in the beginning. So it kicked off my cravings. Obviously it kicked me out of ketosis, but I also had less energy. I did a bike ride the week that I had the binge and I just felt like I was flagging. Now, when you're running on glucose, you can hit what's called the wall because your glucose runs low. When you're running on ketosis, that doesn't happen. So it's a lot easier to exercise when you're in ketosis, and I could feel the difference in myself. So on reflection, it really isn't worth a minute in the mouth, the taste, and putting the carbs in for a 10-day reset to get back to where you were. So I won't do that again, she says, but I do not plan on doing that again. So I just thought I'd put together some hints really and some tips from what I've learned so far. Now my carb limit is at the moment 19 grams. I think I started on about 21 net carbs, and what net carbs are your total carbs minus the fibre. So that's what your net carbs are. But I think the thing about carbs is it's a limit. It's not a target to achieve, it's a limit. So if I only had 10 grams of carbs a day, that's fine. 19 is the maximum I should have. And the thing about carbs is it's where you get them from matters. So sometimes I'll have nuts. I'll have a little push, 30 grams of nuts, which is nothing. It's you know, a little pile of nuts like that. And sometimes I'll have an 85%, the mini bars of chocolate, but they're really high in carbs. Now I can get a lot more bang for my buck if I have a cupful of broccoli or a cupful of cabbage or a cupful of kale. or salad than I do eating nuts and dark chocolate. So focus on where your carbs come from, because if you're having other things, you're using those carbs up and you're not really filling yourself up, where the veg and the salad is a really good way to fill yourself up. So where your carbs come from matters, and I think eating what they call clean is the best way to go. And don't bother with fake products, making fake things. I've made the keto cookies because I think I was about 8 or 9 weeks in before I made those, and I just felt like I fancied something. And I've been making them for Paul because he's doing keto, but he doesn't need to lose weight, so he just needs those extra calories and something that's, something he can probably have a little snack with. But what I find is when I make something like that, it's very hard to resist. And I know they're there, and I eat not too many of them. I can be within my macros, but I've used a lot of my calories up and I've used a lot of my carbs up eating things like that rather than basic good healthy food. So my advice is don't bother simulating things, because the other thing is, can you resist? You have to have portion control when you make these things. I've seen some lovely keto cake recipes, cheesecake recipes, but you can only have a small portion. So if you're going to make fake products, can you do portion control? Because if I'm honest, I cannot portion control sweet stuff and snacky stuff. I've got 30 years of those bad habits are not going to go away overnight. So I find it's much, much better for me if I don't make them. And so Paul's not having any more biscuits, sorry Paul. But yeah, it's better for me if I don't make them, because I cannot portion control, and I want my food to come from really healthy, good basic food like the veg and the salads, rather than snacking and nibbling stuff. So I think that's the sort of thing that I'll leave till maintenance. When I get to my goal weight, I can do a little bit more of that and make things that my net carbs can probably go up a bit, and I can do that then. But at the moment, to lose the weight and focusing on the weight loss, they're out of the equation. And I think it's a dangerous slope to have something like that, and you get that feel for something sweet even though it's a fake sweet. It's a dangerous slippery slope, so I think just avoid. Leave it till maintenance. The fat macro as well. So your fat limit for the day, you want to be eating fats. It really helps at the beginning to get into ketosis, into fat burning, but you don't, again, it's a target, it's not a target, sorry, it's a limit. So that fat limit, you don't have to meet it. You want to use your fats to cook with so that your food tastes nice. So last night I did some salmon, cooked it in avocado oil. It was delicious and it was crispy, the skin underneath, which I absolutely love. But again, you don't have to meet that. It's just a limit. So if you don't have all your fats, that's fine. Ketosis means your body is burning fat for fuel. So if you don't put too much fat in, it's going to get the fat from your body and it's going to burn that for fuel. So again, use your fats to cook with, use them to make your food taste nice. So one of my favourite things is green beans, tablespoon of butter, a bit of garlic and a tiny bit of cheese. And they taste delicious. They're so nice and tasty. I absolutely love them. I'll have a pile of them. Don't take unnecessary fat. So if you're searching keto and you're looking around, you might find something called bulletproof coffee. And what bulletproof coffee is, it's black coffee with either a tablespoon of butter in or coconut oil, but basically a fat. And then you whiz it up in your blender and it goes really thick, well, creamy. And it sounds awful, but it actually does taste really, really nice. But it can take 6 hours to burn off a bulletproof coffee. So why put unnecessary fat into your diet like that? Just have black coffee, don't be adding fats in. So use your fats to satiate yourself, to cook with, to put on your food. Don't be ingesting like fat bombs, people call them, which, are like little sort of a fake Nutella thing where you can make them with coconut and peanut butter, but it's just unnecessary fat. Use your fat to make your food taste good. And when you have your meals, it stops you from snacking in between meals because you're so satisfied. So that's my next hint, don't take unnecessary fat. Don't eat if you're not hungry. So I do intermittent fasting, as I've said before. I probably go to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon before I eat, 2:30, and I'll have a small meal, but I find I'm not hungry then at dinner time. I might eat much later, and I may have a meal, I may have something a bit lighter. This week I've made some what I call keto crackers, which are made with psyllium, husk, nuts, seeds and cheese. Mix them with an egg, lay them on a tray and bake them and cut them into crackers. And I find that one of my meals will be a snack meal, and I'll just have a few crackers with some soft cheese, cream cheese, or I even have pate on them. So if I don't want a big meal, I don't eat a big meal just because it's dinner time. Learn to listen to your body. So don't be driven by a clock. Don't think, oh, it's lunchtime, I've got to have my lunch. It's dinner time, I've got to have my dinner. If you eat when you're hungry, you'll learn to listen to your body more, and you're not taking in unnecessary calories. Just because it's dinner time, you don't have to have a big meal. Eat something that you know you're going to satisfy, and you're going to. I like finger food. I like doing things with my fingers, so I like crackers. I like doing like a smorgasbord with bits of meat and cheese and pickles and things like that. Just learn to listen to your body. And eat when you do feel hungry. Don't ever go hungry. You shouldn't be feeling hungry on this diet, if I'm honest. It really does curb your appetite. But just don't be driven by the clock. Eat when you're hungry, and don't eat if you're not hungry. Make sure you've had your salt. I know I've said this before, but I cannot stress enough, the lack of salt will make you feel not right, and just a little bit out of kilter. Sluggish, maybe a bit tired. You might get leg cramps, which is low potassium, and I don't know whether you know this, but you can get potassium from the low salt. That's quite high in potassium. You get headaches, and again, being on that borderline like I've been for 10 days, I've not been quite in ketosis. That's the worst place to be, because that's where you get the headaches and the cramps and you feel sluggish. So you really want to get yourself into ketosis, and you want to be taking your salts. I can't stress enough the importance of the salts, and drink plenty of water. So what happens when your body stores all the carbs? It stores its glycogen, and glycogen has to be stored with water. So that's how your body holds on to it. And when you're doing the diet and you start to lose all your carbs, they're coming out with water, so you'll find yourself peeing all the time, but you've lost a lot of fluids, so you need to replace those fluids, and you need to replace those salts. Stay hydrated, and you'll not get the headaches then if you do that. And you won't feel bad, you won't feel sluggish, you won't feel you've no energy, you won't have the headaches, you'll feel absolutely great. So if you're not feeling quite right, lots of water and lots of salt. And then the other one is your protein goal. You really want to be having your protein, but you don't want to be going over your protein goal. So whatever your macro is for protein, how much you're allowed a day. And again, there is a video on my how to do keto diet that shows you how to set up your macros in Carb Manager, so you can do that, find out what your protein goal, because we're all different heights, different weights, so all our goals are different. You need your protein for all the essential amino acids. But if you overeat on protein, so in the old days Atkins, you used to be able to have as much meat as you wanted. Well, it doesn't work like that. I think keto is far more measured. So you want to meet your protein goal because you need your proteins, but it's not a target. It's not a limit. You really do want to make it a target. You don't want to go over, because if you eat too much protein, your body can convert protein into glucose. Which will then spike your insulin, and then you'll get all those hunger feelings and everything else. So too much protein, your body can make glucose from, and then that was going to take you out of ketosis. So you don't want to overeat protein, but you do want to make sure that you make your goal and you try and achieve your goal. And then the last thing is, stress and sleep go together. We can't avoid stress in life, we really can't. But you've got to learn how to deal with it and how to manage stress and find your own stress relief. So for me, it's exercise. And what happened this week is on Monday, I got a puncture. I went out on the bike, got a puncture, didn't get very far, had to come home. I ordered some new inner tubes, but they didn't come till yesterday. My husband came in from work and fixed it, and I went out for a bike ride, and I have really, really missed it. And I've found my head all over the place this week because I just need that adrenaline from exercise, and that really helps me de-stress. So we're going to have stress in our lives. You can't avoid stress, but you've got to learn how to manage it. You've got to find something that works for you. It might not be exercise. It might be a lovely soak in the bath with candles and nice smelling things. It might be, you know, just putting on a wax melt and your room smells nice. Whatever works for you, learn to manage your stress, because we can't get stress out of our lives. But what happens, and the reason I'm saying this, what happens when you get stressed is your body releases cortisol, which is the hormone, and insulin has a response to cortisol. So your insulin levels will go up, and then your blood sugars go down, and then you feel hungry. So stress is not a good state to be in. So if you can manage it and learn how to respond to it, what's the best thing for you? For me, it's going out for a bike ride. You know, you'll learn how to control and stop those cortisol levels rising. And sleep, you definitely need a good night's sleep. And I am sleeping, I can sleep for 8 hours, and I'm sleeping really well. So a good night's sleep goes hand in hand with this diet. And as I said, the science works. So when you're back in ketosis and you're at a good level of ketosis, you know, you are burning fat. So it's a win-win. So how have I done this week? This is my week 11 update. I can't believe that 11 weeks have gone by. I lost 1.5 pounds this week, so I'll put my weigh in here. So yes, I did make it into the 11. I nearly said 12 because I still can't believe I'm not in the 12s. I've actually got into the 11 stones and I started in the 14. So I am, you know, I'm elated. 1.5 pounds off this week. I've not exercised as much this week, so I am really pleased with that. My starting weight was 196.25 pounds, and today's weight is 166.75 pounds. So in 11 weeks, I have lost 29.5 pounds. Brilliant, you know, it works. The proof is in the pudding. Non-scale victory this week. I laughed really because I thought, I can't believe she's just asked me that. I went shopping the other day, and I was just, when you're shopping at the moment, they're asking you to pack your bags at your car. So I was packing up bags for all 3 households. As I, you know, I shop for 3 different people. So there's a lot of packing at the car, and this lady said, excuse me, could you help me? I said, yeah, what's the matter? She said, I've locked my keys in my car, and she had the driver's door open, and she had one of these really tiny cars. It had 4 doors and a boot. The boot was locked, the back doors were locked, and I need to climb over into the boot to get them. She said, but obviously I won't fit. She said, and you look a lot fitter than me. And I thought, goodness me, 11 weeks ago you wouldn't have been saying that to me. So I was over the moon that she thought I looked fit and slim enough to climb over her seats to retrieve her keys from the boot. So that just made me smile, and I just thought, wow, you know, people see you differently. You know, they see that I'm in my head, I'm still that fat person, but somebody else thought I was slim enough to climb over the seats of a mini car and get the keys from the boot. So I was really pleased about that. So carry on being great this week, you know, stick to it, think about planning, log in everything, think about where your nutrients are coming from. You know, are they coming from real good wholesome food, or are you making fake products? And if you are, try and cut that out and give yourself a target this week to do that, because having proper nourishing food will make you feel completely different. And also, you know, you're not getting those constant thoughts about having things you shouldn't really be having, leading you down a dark path. So good luck with your weight loss this week. See you next week for my week 12 check-in. Bye.